Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to be talking about virtual reality, where we are, and where we're going. My name is Sumbul Alvi. I am a software engineer at Snapchat. And previously, in my previous life before Snapchat, I was working at Pivotal Labs as well as Tumblr. So first of all, let's get this out of the way. What is VR? What is AR for those of us who don't know? And what are the differences? So both of them strive to accomplish the same task of trying to project this virtual object through some interface, like a headset or a screen or a pair of glasses, like the Google Glass. But the biggest difference is that this virtual object that's projected in VR is something you can step into, and in AR, it's something that is projected in our world. So it's stepping into our world. And this concept is clarified through these two GIFs. On the left, you can see there's a guy who's in his completely immersive world. And he's playing with these blocks, and he's wearing an Oculus Rift with a leap motion sensor attached to the headset. And that's tracking his hand movements. And on the right, we have the Snapchat app with the AR lenses that we all know and love, coming into our world and interacting with it. Usually when we think about VR and what it looks like and what it feels like, a lot of that is inspired from Hollywood, from movies like The Matrix or Tron or books like Ready Player One. But in reality, sometimes VR kind of looks like this, flying through a very pixelated world. There's frames dropping here and there, and this guy doesn't seem like he's having a really good time. But we want to get to the Matrix. That's what we want. And there's three headsets right now that are really pushing to try to get us there. There's the HTC Vive, there's the Oculus Rift, and the PlayStation VR. The HTC Vive has 70 IR sensors that take input from the Lighthouse tracking system that it has, which are these two boxes that you put on opposite ends of the room. And it shoots the laser, it scans the area to try to triangulate your position. And that's why it's called the Lighthouse tracking system. The Oculus Rift has 40 IR LEDs that emit light from the touch controllers. There's 24 in each of the touch controllers. And it takes there's two sensors that you'll place in front of you, and it takes in those lights as input. So this is called the Constellation tracking system. It's interesting that the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift have like the opposite tracking systems. Now, the PlayStation VR is usually looked at as the benchmark VR because of the quality of the experience you can get and the affordability of the actual system. It has 9 LEDs on the headset, and these are visible to the human eye as opposed to the other ones. And it has 1 in each of the touch motion controllers. And the biggest reason for the cost difference is because of the motion tracking. The PlayStation camera has 2 dual-wide cameras that actually take in the input image, and it does image processing to figure out what colors are showing up in the image. But if you turn around or if you obstruct the lights that are showing up from the controller or from the headset, then it really loses your position. But it works out really well for a lot of the games that are available for it, like this one. Now, mobile VR costs significantly less, as cheap as $5. And this is because it consists of just a shell with lenses inside of it and that you put your phone into. But our phones aren't really made for a virtual reality experience. And so the picture quality and the processing power is not really comparable to a PC or a console. As well, the motion tracking is lacking because all it has to work with is your phone and the gyroscope and the accelerometer. So you can't do anything very fancy with it, but you can still have really cool 360-degree experiences. So we saw a lot of images of games that people were playing, but what's happening in VR outside of the gaming industry? Well, the gaming industry is really pushing us to develop and progress in other fields outside of it. One of them is in military. VR has proven to be really, really helpful for simulating these combat situations that soldiers can go into and practice communication protocols as well as routines that are going to play out in different battle scenarios in a really controlled and safe environment. Also in fashion, Topshop's flagship store in Oxford Circus gave their customers VR headsets so that they could experience the AW14 catwalk show right from the front row. It's pretty cool. In art, the Google Tilt Brush is an amazing application that lets users actually step into this completely black immersive world that's actually your canvas. And you can use the HTC Vive controllers to create these very elaborate and detailed paintings, structures, dioramas, whatever you want to call it. And these are some examples of that. It's really a really cool experience if you get to try it. In regards to medicine, doctors are using it for imagery of different parts of our body, as well as for training. One doctor in 2016, by the name of Dr. Redmond Burke, actually had this task of operating on a 3-month-old baby that only had half of a heart and only one lung. And he used a Google Cardboard to actually visualize the 3D model of the baby's heart and map out a surgery that was very specific to the baby, which ended up saving her life. So what's next? What are we doing? What do we do? Like, where are we trying to go? Well, we're trying to get to the Matrix, but we're not there yet, so we have that to look forward to. But in regards to fashion and art, we're going to be able to experience a Kanye Yeezy fashion show up close and personal. Currently, for memories, we have photos and we have videos that we can revisit previous, events in our lifetime. But with VR memories, you'll be able to actually step into a world or like a time step into this actual event that happened and be able to experience the same emotion that you felt originally. Software and hardware developers are already working towards creating a fully interactive world, and high-end touch sensors are really going to get us to make the reality part of VR way stronger, and the virtual bit starts to fade away. Which brings me to my next point. Binge experiencing VR is the future. Imagine coming home from work or school, and you put on this helmet, and you start going through experience after experience. You go to a concert first, and then you hang out with your friends, and you're playing a video game, and then you have dinner with your family that lives in another country. So studies have shown that VR helmets are able to hijack our brains in a way that TV never has before. Our limbic systems activate, and our minds and our bodies actually start believing that these experiences we're having in VR are real, just as real as our normal day-to-day lives. This California-based company called Altspace VR is trying to get us there, into this binge experiencing world. On the left, you can see a group of people who have come into this world, and they are watching a movie together. And on the right, you can see there's a group of people having a conversation, just like you would in real life, except it's VR. But irrespective of the use case, VR is unlocking a whole new set of data points for us that allow us to create new ways to communicate with each other, to interact with each other, and even understand human beings in a whole new way that we've never understood ourselves. The possibilities for VR are endless, and it's time for us to swallow that red pill and step into the Matrix.